The conflict with Iran is already causing ripple effects across the global economy, and some of those impacts are starting to hit a little closer to home here in the UK. So in today's episode of Tax Tidbits, we're going to break down what this could mean for both your business and your personal finances. My name is Jack Reeves and welcome to this week's episode of Tax Tidbits, where firstly we are looking at UK energy suppliers who are rapidly pulling fixed price deals after oil and gas prices surged following the conflict. According to Uswitch, the number of fixed tariffs has fallen from 38 to just 15 in a matter of days, and the ones still available have become noticeably more expensive. With wholesale energy prices swinging around so much, suppliers are finding it difficult to guarantee a stable price for a year or more. As a result, several major providers, including British Gas, Overnight Energy and Scottish Power, have simply removed many of their fixed deals altogether. For businesses, this creates a lot of uncertainty. Many companies rely on fixed contracts to lock in predictable energy costs for budgeting and cash flow planning. So with fewer fixed deals available and the remaining ones costing more, companies could face rising operating costs or be pushed onto variable tariffs that fluctuate month to month. That makes forecasting tougher and puts extra pressure on margins, especially for energy-intensive businesses. The good news is the UK energy price cap means most households won't see bills rise immediately. But if wholesale prices keep climbing, the cap could go up later in the year. Speaking of oil and gas prices rising, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said the planned fuel duty rise in September will be kept under review due to the ongoing conflict. The increase would phase out the 5p cut that was put in place after Russia invaded Ukraine. But for now, the duty is frozen, with ministers describing the situation as very volatile and saying it is too early to predict petrol prices. Some MPs are calling for the hike to be scrapped now, warning it will hit drivers' wallets, while Keir Starmer says the government is going to keep a close eye on the situation. For businesses, rise in fuel duty could mean higher transport and logistics costs and squeezing margins for delivery-heavy or fuel-intensive companies. UK mortgage rates are surging and deals are disappearing amid the global uncertainty, with the average 2-year fixed mortgage now above 5%, the highest since last August, while 5-year deals are at their priciest since June. Nearly 500 mortgage products disappeared in just 2 days, the most since the 2022 mini-budget, leaving buyers and people renewing their deals scrambling for options. Lenders are hiking rates because rising oil prices and inflation worries have thrown interest rate predictions out the window. So those hoping for cheaper mortgages this year are quickly seeing that dream evaporate. If you're looking to switch or lock in a rate, some sub 4% deals are still floating around, but you might need the reflexes of an Olympic sprinter to grab one. For businesses, higher borrowing costs make it more expensive to finance property or fund expansions and new projects, which may particularly squeeze small or property-heavy companies. The conflict in Iran is also making global shipping a lot more expensive, and unfortunately those extra charges are likely to land straight on our plates as consumers. With oil prices up nearly 20% since the conflict began, and key routes like the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea blocked or too risky, ships are forced to take longer, more expensive detours, adding roughly $200 per standard container, a 15 to 20% hike in freight costs. That means your toys, clothes and electronics might be delayed, and while trucks and land routes are doing their best to keep essentials moving, some exports like petrochemicals are getting stuck in the slow lane. For businesses, it's a double whammy. Higher shipping costs eat into margins, delays disrupt supply chains, and planning becomes a headache when important goods might not arrive on time. What we really need here is diplomatic agreements to reopen trade routes, because temporary naval escorts are more of a plaster than a long-term solution. The conflict is also turning flight paths into a game of air traffic Tetris. With airspace over Iran, Iraq and the Gulf off limits, planes are either squeezed into a narrow northern corridor or forced onto longer, bumpier detours through the Caucasus, Afghanistan, or all the way around Egypt and Saudi Arabia. That means longer flights, higher fuel costs, and more chances for delays. Businesses are feeling the pinch because of this, as slower flights and longer routes can disrupt staff travel, cargo shipments, and supply chains, driving up costs for companies that rely on international travel or air freight. Aviation experts warn that congestion and delays are likely, causing complications to airline schedules. And if the conflict drags on or spreads, it could force a major rethink of the hub-based model that has made Dubai and Abu Dhabi the go-to connection points for Europe to Asia travel. And that's a wrap on this week's episode of Tax Tidbits. Thanks for watching, and if you found this useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. I'll see you next week.